How's it going, everyone? And thank you for listening to this episode of the Hanging Up the Boots podcast. So, my longtime followers know that it has been a couple of months since my last content release, and for that I want to apologize. If you're listening to this in the future, it's August, and we are going on what feels like 35 years in quarantine. It has been a crazy time, and for my own mental health sake, I kind of had to deprioritize content creation a little bit, but hopefully we're going to be able to get on a more regular schedule of putting out episodes and videos and stuff for everybody. I was finally able to, a few days ago, line up my schedule enough to do a really enjoyable interview with a great Marine, Justin Minger. We went to Defense Language Institute together. He was a Levantine linguist, which is a dialect of Arabic. But this episode, thankfully, I think for a lot of reasons, is a little bit more lighthearted than a lot of the content that I've put out in the past. We got to just kind of drink some bourbon and catch up. It wasn't super heavy, which I think is kind of a nice change of pace for everybody because of all of the doom and gloom that's been going on in the country and in the news of late. So I really hope you enjoy this conversation. I sure did. It was a lot of fun to just, sip some good whiskey and talk to Justin. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Justin Minger. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got Justin Minger here, my boy from DLI, back after a long hiatus from the show. So I'm excited to have him on. We got some bourbon going, and we're ready to get into it. So, dude, it's really good to have you, and we've been talking about this for a couple months. So I'm excited that you're here.
Yeah, I'm trying to be supportive of the show.
I appreciate it. We need the support. Reaching as many people as we can. So, I appreciate it. But I'm a little out of practice, so, bear with me. But, so Justin was at DLI with me, linguist. We got into, much of the similar shenanigans at the Language Institute, with TRADOC, insane liberty rules notwithstanding. But, as I was saying before we got started, I usually start out with what got you into the Marine Corps. So, what series of events got you to the Yellow Footprints? Because it's usually like a family thing, or, you were a D1 athlete and blew out your ACL or something.
Nope.
But
not me.
Not
Sorry,
you. So how'd you get there?
So I grew up, my great-grandpa fought in World War II in the Army Air Corps. So, yeah, badass. He would say stuff like, and then I was flying over Germany, and I think that was what you would call the Battle of the Bulge. And it's like, wow, you're just going to drop history like it's nothing. Great-grandpa.
You're just like, as casually as you'd be like, so I was going to the supermarket. And, I just stopped by Iwo Jima one day and planted a flag,
Right. No big deal. It's fun.
That's hilarious.
So I had experiences like that. And then my maternal grandpa was in the Marine Corps. And he was actually on Camp Pendleton. And he worked in the tank area. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of memories with him. But I have this really cool picture of their entire battalion lined up on Camp Pendleton. So
that's dope.
It's awesome. So experiences like that, and then my dad was really patriotic. So I would say it was like fostered in me this sense of duty to the country. And I remember in middle school, one of my assignments was to write like a memoir about myself. And of course, I was a simple-minded child, so I wrote about this dream that I had that I was fighting on Iwo Jima, and like it was the greatest thing ever. So yeah, that kind of started it, and then throughout my high school career, with all that interaction with family members and my dream of all dreams to die on Iwo Jima, I started talking to recruiters and everything, and my parents wanted me to look into the West Point and the Naval Academy and trying to get my college done at the same time as my goals. They wanted to make sure I was set for life. And eventually I just went to the recruiter. 17, signed up. And then 2 weeks after I concluded high school, I was heading off to good old California.
That's awesome.
I loved it.
And you grew up, you're in Iowa now. You grew up there.
Yep. Grew up in Iowa. We're typical Midwestern flyover type people,
Yeah.
Just like our flag and some beer every once in a while.
Hey, man, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
We could use a little more of that out in California right now.
But yeah, I don't hear good things in the news, but there's no judgment.
Feel free to judge, bro. Like, people are there's an exodus out of this state, which hopefully will bring rent down, but it's not likely. But that's cool. I think you're one of the first people on that did it out of a sense of action, like truly out of a sense of patriotism, as opposed to, like me, where I was like, I don't know what I want to do, but it's not $120,000 of college debt, so maybe this.
Isn't it crazy that people actually do want to do that, though? Like, that's their first option. I'm going to college. I'm going to saddle myself with this debt that I have to pay off for years.
I mean, I think it's crazy unless you're, single-mindedly driven. Because, like, I think the same forces that could drive someone to the military and just be like, I didn't even consider anything else. Like, I knew I was going to be a Marine. I was a soldier boy all the time. And, growing up, I think it's maybe less likely, but maybe somebody just is like, I really fucking, all I want to do is be a CPA so badly. I don't
know about CPA.
I just love spreadsheets, bro. I don't know. Or market analysis. I mean, I can't gel with that. That's not my vibe. But, maybe it might work for some people. Some people get paid. Some people don't even have to think about it. And their parents are like, just go to college and figure it out on your own. Join a frat and figure it out.
Here's 4 more years of adolescence and we'll pay for it. It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Now I think that's one of the interesting things that'll come out of this COVID thing is like, if you're willing to pay for the quote unquote college experience, what is that really? Like going to a lecture hall at 8:00 in the morning to be talked at by some tenured dude that hasn't given a fuck since before you were born, and you're like super hungover, and you just join a frat, and 4 years later you maybe have a degree.
Yeah.
But if it's all online, is that worth $50,000 a year? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. There's some universities around here. Like I went to a private institution, Drake University here in Des Moines, because the government was paying for it, obviously. And so they're still trying to figure out what they're going to do. But if they go purely online, can you still ask people to pay full price for that experience? Because then you're just paying for the name on your resume. I wouldn't feel comfortable charging somebody full price for just the name on the resume,
I mean, I feel like to a degree, that's what you're doing anyway. I mean, barring certain programs, like,
sure,
if you're going to go to law school, there's a difference between Oxford and, insert your, online program here, Phoenix University or University of Phoenix or whatever.
I think there's both, actually.
You're probably right. But, I mean, I don't know. I feel like to a degree, in those specific instances, it matters. But, I mean, for the first 2.5 years, like the first 5 semesters where you're just getting gen eds, like, why would you pay that much money to go to high school 2.0? It's like fourth phase of boot camp. Who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a lot of people around here who do the community college thing for 2 years to knock out those gen eds and then get some work experience just wherever.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. I think that's a smart way to do it.
Definitely. Especially if you don't care about that college experience. Like if you're just like, I just want a degree and start working. Like I don't want to join a frat or whatever. Do that.
Right. You can live with your parents, knock out some community college courses, and then, actually do what you want to do.
Right. I think that's the way to do it. Or trades. Trade schools are, I think.
Trade schools would be lit.
I think a lot more people are going to be going to trade schools now because it's like the essential businesses in COVID, a lot of them are like trade school stuff.
Right.
Mechanics.
You need a plumber. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. If your car breaks down in the middle of a pandemic, you still need a mechanic or, an HVAC tech or whatever. But I digress. But looping back, that's pretty cool that you did that out of patriotism. And so you got 2 weeks out of boot camp, or 2 weeks out of high school, rather. You're at boot camp, getting your ass hazed. You 17 still at this point?
Yeah. I guess I would have been 17.
Okay, right on. And then you get through boot camp.
Oh, sorry. 18.
18. When did you turn? Were you in boot camp when you turned 18?
No, I turned 18 in October during my high school year, so I'm just an idiot.
Oh, that's all good. Dude, I turned 18 in third phase, in third phase. That was
did they throw a party for you?
Yeah. Because it was at the very end of the day, like I almost got away. I forgot it was my birthday almost because I was like, time is not of any effect in boot camp. It
truly is relative.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then we're like about to get in bed in the middle of, senior square away time or whatever.
Sure.
And I got called up to the quarterdeck and they were like, "You thought you fucking got away with it." And I was like, what? So that was not a good time.
That's funny. That's awesome. Yes, but I was 18, graduated high school, went to boot camp. I would clarify definitely am patriotic, but I feel like it was romanticized in my head, for sure. And reality set in pretty quick.
Yeah.
Once I got there,
That's the Marine Corps way, man. It's got the most effective recruitment style ever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like I still see commercials like at work or something of dudes, waving over helicopters and stuff like that. And you're like,
the smoke clears and they're just crouched with their, their M16 staring on the side.
Yeah. Just double tapping nothing. Like, all right, first squad on me. I mean, it works.
Double time stat. Hurry up.
Yeah.
Just saying nonsense because it's a commercial. Yeah.
It works though.
But it got me there. Yeah, it does work.
Yeah, I fell for it. Didn't we all? But so you get through, and then Defense Language Institute.
Yep. Yeah, I made it through boot camp, and this is kind of a funny story. I never should have been there to begin with. So
DLI?
I really wanted it. No, I shouldn't have gone to boot camp.
Oh, why?
I really wanted it, and I didn't put in the effort leading up to going to boot camp. And so I weighed in at the MEP station overweight, and I only did 5 pull-ups, or the least amount you could do and still go.
Oh, dang.
And they were like, okay, I guess you're going. And then I'm pretty sure that everything was on the up and up. I was able to go despite that.
Uh-huh.
And then it was towards the end of boot camp, one of the drill instructors from another platoon was like, "You guys know that you're the shit platoon, the people that aren't supposed to be here." And then I kind of connected the dots, oh shit, maybe I'm not actually supposed to be here. This is weird.
Maybe that guy was just being an asshole.
Right, exactly.
You guys are the booger platoon. You're the rejects from all the other. Yeah, fuck that guy.
Well, just looking back at it, it's I wanted something so much, and I didn't put in the effort to at least do 10 pull-ups. Why did I show up and only do 5? everything worked out. It's just one of those things. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what was I thinking as a child?
Well, yeah, I mean, you were a child, man. Like, here's a good story for you. We were doing a pool function, and I was like 17. Yeah. And we're doing this pool function, and I'm from Northern California, and it was like June, I think, and it was blistering hot. Dry heat, but like 108 or something, like real fucking hot. And so we're doing this pool function. I had a Camelback, and we're doing like chain drags and tire flips and stuff like that. And I just start projectile vomiting everywhere. It was terrible. And I'm like, oh man, I'm big time out of shape. Like, this is not good. I went to the next PT, and like really mild PT. I think it was an IST actually. So just the half PFT or whatever. Right. And so I started that, and then also just started projectile vomiting. And it turns out that there was a copious amount of mold in my Camelback because I had been putting Gatorade powder in it. So I was just poisoning myself every time I was working out. And so my stupid 17-year-old brain took that as no working out for like 2 weeks. And then went back, and at this point I was only like a month or two from let's see, it was like early summer, and I shipped in September. So like I was only a month or two out from going. And I was like completely useless. Like I would have, when I had gone back, if I had shipped to boot camp that day, I don't think they would have let me go.
Let you go, sure.
So, when you're 17, you're just kind of like, you don't know anything.
Dumb stuff.
Yeah, you do dumb shit. I'm that was 8 years. God, that was 8 years ago.
Pretty crazy.
Fuck, dude, I'm old. But
only on the side, buddy. You look great.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. But no, I mean, I'm still doing dumb shit every day. But looking back on that, I'm like, at least I'm not doing that dumb stuff.
You're not drinking moldy Gatorade from your Camelback.
Yeah, dude. Just even thinking about it, I'm like,
That's funny. I roomed with Mac in the barracks, and I don't remember what happened, but we had this milk carton in the fridge for forever. I don't know how we passed field days because they check the expiration date sometimes. And
I did not know that, but
I have this milk carton. I think it was pretty regular checking the expiration date. Maybe I just got assholes checking my room, but
at DLI, yeah, big time.
But I pull out this carton of milk because I'm like, well, I just finished a workout and need a shot of protein or something stupid that you tell yourself after a workout.
No.
This just cursed carton of milk, and I almost threw up. Almost. So you got me beat on throwing up, but just chunky, disgusting milk in my mouth.
Dude, that's terrible. That's so bad.
Because you don't expect it. You're thinking, oh, I love milk. This is my favorite drink as a kid.
Mm-hmm. And then you just taste semi-liquid death. Oh, God.
Right. It's like this moldy cottage cheese should not be in my milk carton.
I'm like kind of nauseated right now. So thank you for that.
I hope I described it accurately.
You had me at moldy cottage cheese, bro. So you get to DLI, and what language were you again? Which brand of Arabic?
So I showed up, and I went to the S1 shop when they announced your course of training or whatever. Yeah. And the guy behind the desk says, "You're going to be Levantine," and I was like, "Excuse me, a Levantine? Like I never."
What about Ovaltine?
Yeah, exactly. What am I going to be learning? And he said Arabic, so I was like, "All right, cool." So, yeah, it was pretty wild because that week we were told what we wanted, and then the next, or what we were going to get, obviously not what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next week we started classes, and actually when I met Nick Herman,
Mm-hmm.
we were in some function like the first day of our classes and training, and they're like, we're supposed to have 3 Marines and there's only 2 of you, and it was me and Hammers, if you remember Hammers. And,
Hammers.
yeah,
I do remember
yeah,
Hammers.
talked to him forever, but they're like, we're supposed to have some Private Herman, and so I like freak out because I'm taking this whole thing so seriously. I just got here from boot camp. I'm not gonna mess this up. We're starting Levantine today, so I called Herman, and he was playing video games in his room. He was like, "Oh, I thought we started on Monday."
Oh my god, that's
So the
awesome.
first time I met him, I was yelling at him to get to class. So kind of a fun story.
That's awesome. That's so funny because by the time I got there, he was like so on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone liked to party, I guess, but he was like serious about work, like run team, and
Yep.
like, dude, I did run team for like 2 weeks, and I was like, fuck this noise. No way.
That's funny.
That shit was terrible.
Yeah, I met him that day, and I'm gonna be one of the best men at his wedding next summer. So,
Dude, that's dope.
it's been a ride. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
That's awesome. Was he
Crazy.
dating his soon to be wife in the Marine Corps, or did he meet her
No,
after?
I've met her once, I want to say,
Mhm.
and then corresponded, via Instagram or however we talk these days, FaceTime and stuff.
Nice.
But I met her at Cotty's wedding. Sweet girl.
Cool.
They'll do well together, I hope. So
good for him, man. That's exciting. I'll reach out to
yeah,
him.
I just want to see everybody happy.
Yeah, definitely.
I bet he'd want to be on. He's been up to some cool things. So.
Yeah, it sounds like it based on what you were telling me. So, you jump into Levantine. How did you do in that course? Because I won't lie to you, man. Like, I got my ass kicked by Arabic, and like I enjoy languages a lot, but DLI whooped my ass.
Yeah, I will sound more humble at the end than I will right now. I started out very well. I got the alphabet down. I knew simple phrases like, can I go to the bathroom, before I even started class, stuff like that. And the teaching team that we had, it was their first cycle of training people.
Okay.
So it's super nice people. It's just the level of teaching that needs to happen in that year and a half that you have to learn Arabic. Since we were their first team, they had a lot of figuring stuff out to do.
You were the guinea pigs, yeah?
Yeah. So I started out feeling super great about it. And then, I don't know, was it broken into like trimesters or was it semesters? I think
it was trimesters.
Was it tries? Okay. So after the first trimester, they said, Private Minger or whatever, you're doing super well. We'd like to put you in a different classroom where the students aren't doing as well. And I was operating here, and then I was put with a group of students that weren't on the same level, and they thought that I would pull them up. It's probably more to do with me than them, but like I felt like I was pulled down to their level because the teaching team was only providing this much teaching.
So you were talking about the fact that the level of teaching that you were receiving after you had been pulled to that kind of like lower echelon class wasn't quite there.
Yeah, and I always want to take responsibility for what happens in life. I think that was a factor, and then I didn't put in the extra effort to continue to do well. But after 2 semesters of working in that environment, I failed the DLPT the first time.
Oh.
So I feel like that is definitely a reflection of my effort, but it's got to be some of the teaching team too,
Yeah.
Like, it's just not the best environment. So
you can only do so much, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I put in a few Saturdays before the DOPT, and I was feeling fired up, and I don't know. Again, I mean, it's definitely my fault, but
Yeah.
the whole experience definitely had something to do with it.
Yeah. I mean, I had that problem even when I was, at like at Radman later on. Like I think I passed one other DLPT the whole time I was in because
yeah, I passed the one to leave DLI and that's it. So we're in good company, brother.
That actually makes me feel better because like I was doing fine like in in the missions and stuff like that, and we had to I was on a team, so I was focusing more on the team's aspect, and then had to basically learn how to do the analysis side after my deployment, and my Arabic was not great.
Yep.
So I was like,
yeah, I get that.
Yeah. And I mean, you kind of pick up the difference between the Arabic that you're tested on and the Arabic that you actually use is massive. So
way different.
Yep. So you passed the DLPT the second time?
Yep. I got placed with a different teaching team who was, I don't know, like 8 weeks from their DLPTs or something like that.
So you didn't have to roll back like a whole trimester or anything?
No, it was just a short time. It was myself and Hammers, so I got a few extra weeks of Hammers.
Hammers!
It was always nice. Yeah, and I was supposed to go to second, and then I failed, and then they changed my orders to go to first.
Well, you dodged a bullet there.
I think so. I think it was just God was intervening in my life because it's a way better experience to head to first. So
that's awesome. So when did you get to Pendleton? Well, you had to go to Goodfellow.
So I passed at DLI in May, and then I would have gone to probably the best summer ever down in Goodfellow. Ugh. I love that place. And then I think in October is when I got to DLI or Pendleton.
Okay, so, man, you were only a few weeks ahead of me then.
Yeah. I wasn't too far ahead of you.
Nice.
You didn't like Goodfellow at all?
No, I hated it. I was drunk the entire time because I hated it so much. Like,
that's fair. I knew a lot of people like that.
It was terrible. Like we couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't do anything. You had to wear a uniform all the time.
Yep.
Like it was awful. And I think the most annoying part of Goodfellow was the fact that you could kind of understand the rationale behind everything to a degree, right. But It was taken to such an extreme that it felt spiteful.
You think so?
Yeah, because like when we were at DLI, I was like, okay, well, it sucks to have to sign out to go to the chow hall or, the gym. Like that sucked. It was annoying, but like having to wear Chucks to go to the chow hall in the summer in Texas, like what does that serve other than just making you like miserable? Like what purpose does that serve?
I loved it, man.
Why?
So like at the 6 weeks I had with Hammers at DLI, all I did was go to the gym, play video games, and study.
Yeah.
And so I showed up to Texas, and I have all of that, just gym and studying and not leaving base. But I get my friends again. So I was like thrilled, just hanging out in the barracks. I remember one time it started just raining, like a downpour. And I grabbed a football, and then before we knew it,
I remember that
all of the barracks were outside playing football. It was awesome.
I remember that, just getting like mud up to your knees, like standing in the swamps up to your knees. Yeah, that was a good time. That was one of the rare good times.
Like, what if somebody got hurt? And we were like, I don't know. Whatever.
That's a problem for future us. Like.
Yeah, exactly.
But you guys need to have a corpsman out there. Like, okay.
Yeah, whatever. I'm a Marine.
Yeah.
First to fight.
Oh no! Did you see the picture of the guy that got that whole thing tattooed on his ass cheek in like crayon?
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, just go on YouTube and type in "He's a Marine" TikTok. And then you will rip your eyeballs out of your head because it's the most cringe-inducing thing you've ever seen in your life. It was terrible. But
I thought it was kind of funny. I thought it was satire at first, though. I'll be fair. I thought it
me
was
too.
satire. She
I
was being serious.
Yeah, which made it so much worse and better. But the saddest part is that knowing that guy had to go to work after that.
Yeah, and he probably
And
still does.
yeah, and his entire command knows about that video.
Yep.
It was an internet sensation, and you just see him in the back just at parade rest while his wife does a TikTok dance to no music. And he's just, you can see the soul leave his eyes. He's just, dude, such a bummer for that guy. But
I'm sure there's some sort of quid pro quo.
oh,
There had to have been. Like, we can do that thing if I can make this TikTok.
Yeah. He definitely, to use a Marine Corps term, he definitely got taken care of on the back end.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
If that's what he likes, then I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been something pretty spectacular for him to sign off on that.
Because his life's just ruined.
It's
now.
over.
He's probably sitting in the corner of their house like, President Trump, please ban TikTok. Please just tear this down. I don't want anybody to see this anymore.
I want my lawyers to have this scrubbed off the internet. Like, please.
Like, that's even possible. Come on, Gunny.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. He was a gunny, dude. He was it would have been one thing. It would have been one level of terrible if he was a Lance Corporal.
Sure.
Or like a PFC. But the fact that was a gunnery sergeant in the air wing, which didn't really surprise me, but
he was he was
in the wing. But a gunnery sergeant was the subject of that video. Just terrible, dude. But looping back, I'm glad that you enjoyed Goodfellow, because I, honest to God, think you were the only person who did.
Probably, yeah.
I know Hammers didn't, because he didn't get paid the whole time he was there.
How many things can go wrong for one man in a year, you know?
Yeah, I don't.
Hammer's whole life. Jeez.
Yeah. I really do feel for that dude.
Oh, I'm sure he's doing fine now that he's out. I think it was just maybe not the right fit. Such a great guy, just not the right fit, maybe.
Yeah. Square peg, round hole, for sure.
Could have been. You remember Stucker?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Remember Hammers and Stucker roomed together at DLI?
I don't remember that, but that sounds like a sitcom waiting to happen. Can you give the audience just a quick rundown of Ken Stucker?
Shoot. So imagine an albino baby that is filled with testosterone and brought to adulthood and has a magnificent mustache and is just shredded because he drinks a gallon of milk every day.
And is lactose intolerant.
Yes. With the brain of a highly intelligent, maybe schizophrenic individual. And I say that lovingly. He's an insane person.
Great dude, but he is a psychopath. Yeah, for sure.
He actually, next year, I saw he's on Instagram now, and he's going to do the entire Appalachian Trail starting next year.
Dope.
I think that's like thousands of miles or something like that.
Yeah. Do you remember Micah Johnsrud?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did the Pacific Crest Trail. I think awesome. like only a few months after he got out.
That's cool.
Dude's a savage.
Yeah.
But Ken, I remember when he started doing the gallon of milk a day challenge, and we were at the smoke pit in front of ME1 or ME2 in at DLI, and he's carrying around this gallon jug of milk, and I see him just like catapult a fistful of pills into his mouth, and then start chugging milk.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Are those vitamins or something?" He's like, "No, it's Lactaid." And I was like, "It's Lactaid? Why? Are you lactose intolerant?" He goes, "Extremely," and then keeps chugging milk. And I was like, from the jug. And I'm looking at him, and this is when he was lifting heavily with like Kozub and me, and I think it was still Staff Sergeant Slaughter at the time. I think he was the overseer of our little island of misfit toys, powerlifters. But Stucker was there all the time, and he did the gallon of milk a day challenge to help with that. Yeah. And he looked like an albino, like if you took an albino silverback gorilla and put like the schizophrenic baby head on him.
Yeah, that's a more apt description.
Dude, sure. And I was like, you're drinking a gallon of milk a day plus, whey protein and dairy-based mass gainers.
Still eating like a normal person plus that. Yeah.
And was like violently lactose intolerant. I was like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "No. Good luck, man. I think you're doing great." But yeah.
Oh, I love that guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He was wrapping up his deployment when I showed up to relieve him, and that kind of like, I don't know, not sparked, but maybe renewed a friendship because I hadn't spoken to him since DLI.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got back, he was in the skiff, and then I joined him, and we like hung out all the time after that.
Nice. What's he doing these days, other than preparing for the Appalachian Trail?
I think I haven't spoken to him. Like as soon as we left California, I kind of stopped talking to people because I'm a shitty human being.
That's tough, man.
But just following his social media, I think he did like a little tour of the states back home to Pennsylvania, and now he's planning on doing the trail next year. So
that's dope. Good for him. That's really cool.
He's good. Yeah.
He's one of the most single-mindedly driven individuals, even to the detriment of his gastrointestinal system.
Yeah.
But
solid dude.
Yeah, great guy. I hope Hammers is doing well.
Yeah,
The dude
I
has
hope
such
he's getting paid wherever he is.
That's true. For those of you who were not at Goodfellow Air Force Base with Justin and I, our friend Scott Hammers, who is like, he's the friend that's the butt of all the jokes, and it's not because he's a bad person. It's just he's just a misfortune magnet. Like
that could be a good description.
Like I don't know what it was about that guy, but just he was cursed. Straight up. And when we got to DL, I forget what happened like right before he left DLI or like right when he got to Goodfellow. But like one bad thing happened, and then we were talking to him and we're like, "Hey man, hope you're doing okay." He's like, "Yeah." He sounded like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. He's
Every day.
"Yeah, I'm fine. Except I haven't been paid in like 6 weeks." We're like,
that
"What?"
Because so Hammers and I showed up to Goodfellow at the same time, and while we were in S1, he finds this out, months later after it's all straightened out. One of the clerks had typed in like 011 instead of 010 or something like that, and that meant that he was in this perpetual like working but not getting paid state according to the Marine Corps. And it was just the weirdest fluke that would only happen to Hammers, like you're saying. Yeah. Just a misfortune magnet.
Yeah. When he explained it to me, he said that that clerical error led the Marine Corps to believe that he was incarcerated in the brig after a particularly bad general court-martial. So he was still in the Marine Corps and trackable, but he was receiving no pay because he was behind bars, according to Headquarters Marine Corps. Which, is the most...
According to your description of Goodfellow, then, yeah, he was behind bars, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I stand by that description. I really am, I'm envious of you, that you... Because I did essentially the same thing, was just drink, play video games, and work out, but mostly drink. I don't know, man. I don't know what it was about that place. It felt so petty and mismanaged, and the sense of accomplishment of passing the DLPT and being like, I did it. I can leave this like fog encrusted mountain of despair of DLI and, go on to Goodfellow where hopefully maybe I'll be treated like a real boy. And I get there
Nope.
and it's worse.
Sorry, Pinocchio. No
Yeah.
dice.
No, it was terrible. But then I got to the fleet and it was better. Not great, but better. But
I liked it. Yeah, Goodfellow was great. You had asked me, so I showed up to Pendleton in October, I want to say.
Mm.
And I was in their holding platoon, I think, like the, people who just showed up kind of platoon.
Mm-hmm.
And the, like, working out every day, maybe a couple times from Goodfellow, just kind of kept happening when I got to Pendleton. Like, get up and go to the gym and then do the workout with the platoon during the day. And for some reason, like, the leadership noticed that and decided that I would be a good candidate for a deployment. And so pretty much immediately I got onto a detachment.
Was it a MAGTF or?
Yeah, MAGTF. So that was 2014 in the fall. And then we took off the following spring, summer-ish time. Yeah, and that time just flew by. It was crazy to just show up to Pendleton and then be slotted for a deployment, kind of a dream come true kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, we were talking about how everything's kind of romanticized in our adolescent minds. But
yeah.
I get out to Iraq and I'm ready to, slay bodies.
Yeah, kick doors and stack bodies.
Right. And it's more of a skiff experience, which, is very fulfilling because the mission is being accomplished. But, it's, still a letdown to not get the type of experiences that you were thinking were going to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
But, I was fortunate enough to be on a team of 4 Radbin guys on El Asad. And we just kind of, got to hang out and make sure that the mission continued and, lift and do everything that I like to do anyways.
Hell yeah.
Until it's time to come home, so.
Doesn't sound like a bad gig.
No, it's great.
Nice. That's cool, man. I think the MAGTF was definitely, like, MAGTFs and RFFs were definitely the deployments to get. But, at Radio Battalion, just getting a deployment is a huge victory, especially when you're when you just get there. Right,
that's why I feel so fortunate, because I knew a bunch of great people who just went right to the skiff, or all of a sudden they're doing the RFF thing, and it's like, what am I thinking of? I think I'm thinking of Matt Hansen. Just these great guys that are just like training all the time and don't get quite the same experience. Whereas I showed up and for some reason I was given this gift,
Yeah.
It's just funny how life works out.
Mm-hmm. So first you fail the DLPT, so you don't end up in Camp Lejeune, the world's biggest trailer park. Sorry to all my second Radbin people out there, but it's true.
I think they know.
They do. And so you end up going to California and then immediately get up to a deployment. You had a blessed pipeline, dude, for sure.
Yeah. That's why, I don't know, maybe that's why I have such rose-tinted glasses when I look back into the past. Like, everything's kind of, it's pleasant. Like, I look back at Goodfellow and I loved it there. Maybe not during the time, but the entire experience with the Marine Corps was so great for me because it happens to be, not for any particular reason or anything that I did.
Nice.
So,
that's lucky. That's real lucky. Definitely. But I think it's good that you say that, because I don't want this show to be let's all talk shit on the military forever. Right. Because that happens because not everybody has, awesome experiences. So I think it's really important that you're like, I had a pretty great time.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Looking back on it.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure there were days when I woke up for my 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. shift, and it's like,
you're like, fuck.
I'd rather just have a normal job and hang out with my wife at dinner time. You know?
Instead of waking up as she's doing the dishes and being like, bye, honey. Like, off to work.
Yeah, see you later.
I'll see you at breakfast.
You can sleep tonight.
Like,
when I'm at the house. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, that's true.
It's just the way it goes.
Graves was terrible, dude. Graveyard shift, that was fucking rough. But
well, that's another thing So I get back from deployment, and they immediately wanted me to go back out on not. Let's see. I'm trying to think. It was either 2 MAGTF deployments between or 1. So I would have gone like every other MAGTF deployment. I get back and they're like, "Hey, Corporal Minger, you're going on this next MAGTF." And I was like, I would love to, and I know I'm a shitbag for saying this, but I don't want to go. Because my wife and I were getting married at the same time that they were taking off. And all the training beforehand would have meant no wedding at all. Yeah. And I was like, hey, look, the mission out there, pretty comparable to the skiff. If you need somebody with experience, send me to the skiff and get one of those guys that really, really wants to go. Somebody who's really into it, get them on this mission and send them instead. And wow, that's what ended up happening. For some reason, it worked out. I don't think it was my reasoning skills. I maybe it was just like a fuck this guy, we don't want him if he doesn't want to come. But yeah, it worked out. I went to the skiff.
I think you're also the first person that I've interviewed that's like, yeah, I went to the skiff of my own volition. It was great.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. There's a pretty special lady in the house with me, and I would probably do anything for her. So if not doing another deployment is what it is, then that's what it is.
That's adorable. But that's also, I don't mean that sarcastically. That's awesome. But
no, I get it. I'm getting soft in my old age. So.
And you're 26 years, yeah.
Well, the other day, it was like 2 weeks ago, we cried at the ending of Up. So.
Oh, that's not a fair.
We're getting there.
That's not a fair litmus test. That's like one of the saddest movies ever.
All right, that's fair.
That's like saying you didn't. That's like saying you cried during Bridge to Terabithia. Like, of course you did.
I remember that movie. It's a good one.
It's heart-wrenching.
Have you seen it's Marshmello's music video for Happier, I think is what the song's called?
I don't think so.
It's like, lately I've been thinking I want you to be happier. Anyways, the music video is gut-wrenching, and I challenge you or whomever ends up listening to this to go watch it because you will cry.
That sounds like not.
And it's not something you'd expect because it's a Marshmello song, Yeah. Like it's I want you to be happier.
Called Happier. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. It'll destroy you.
Why? I don't want to do that. No thanks.
You're not sick like me, I guess.
No, I mean, I don't know. Like, the world's weird and hard enough as it is. I don't usually, like, try to seek out things that'll upset me. That's why I don't like horror movies. I'm also a giant pussy. But, like...
You said it.
I will say it. Yeah, it's not for me, man. I don't like being scared. Like, it's exhilarating, but I'm one of those people where, like, that'll stick with me for, like, a couple days afterwards.
Yep.
I'm like, it's just, I like psychological stuff where you're like, whoa, what if that happened? Or, that's crazy to think about. But, like, I don't know. Standard run-of-the-mill horror movies. Like, perfect example. This one was actually pretty enjoyable for a reason that you will quickly understand. Have you ever seen Sinister?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like that one.
So that movie scared me a lot. However, I watched it at DLI with a couple guys and Berthelsen. Remember Berthelsen?
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And it literally scared the shit out of Berthelsen. He pooped his pants while we were watching it.
Oh, that's too bad.
No, it was the best thing that could have happened. Like, I will never forget that as long as I live.
That's funny.
But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I forgot why we started talking about horror movies. Sad stuff too.
I said I was getting soft. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I also don't like stuff that's intentionally sad, like the ending of The Notebook. When was the last time you watched The Notebook?
Probably earlier this year.
Nice, right on. I respect that.
Well, we I want to say we got YouTube TV like last fall.
Oh, how is that?
So it's a pretty good alternative to cable. But yeah, whenever The Notebook is on, it magically happens to be what we're watching. So,
well, happy wife, happy life. But
right, exactly.
But I don't know, man. The ending to that movie, I just felt was like one last Hail Mary to make the girls in the audience cry. You're just like, ugh.
Right. And none of us look like Ryan Gosling, so it's really a lose-lose for guys.
Yeah. And if you watch it, it's supposed to make him like this adorably persistent guy. Like, he's kind of scummy for most of the movie. You know?
Yeah, he's going after somebody else's girl.
Yeah, and he's
and
like,
then he's like
go out with me.
Drunk alone.
Yeah. Or he's like, go out with me or I'll let go of this Ferris wheel. Like, that's kind of fucked up, you know?
He gets her to lay down in the street.
Yeah.
What kind of role model is that?
I don't know. What are we teaching our young girls?
I don't know. Well, I mean, nothing's as bad as that new Cardi B song. Have you heard that?
I have not. I haven't.
Oh man, you should look at the lyrics for WAP or WAP. I have no idea what it's called, but the lyrics are insane. Yeah.
All right, noted. I mean, I've seen the memes about it and stuff, but like, yeah. I don't know. I don't usually go out of my way to listen to Cardi B.
That's fair. Neither do I.
Yeah. And I read
well,
that,
people were... No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I read that, like, I think Kylie Jenner, like, made a cameo in the music video or something, and people were like, who cares? I don't know.
I couldn't pick Kylie Jenner out of a lineup, to be fair.
I probably could, but not.
There's like 7 Kardashian sisters, and I can't, other than Kim. No idea.
Well, they've all had so much work done that they all look the same. So,
yeah. Well,
if you're a listener and you're a fan of the Kardashian sisters, I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know what to say to you. But like every time, every time I've ever learned anything about the Kardashians or the Jenners, because I think there's more than one, it's been against my will. So I don't know.
You just happen to read something on Facebook or something.
Yeah. And it's like the best one that I saw was Kylie Jenner becomes first self-made billionaire, like the youngest self-made billionaire. I was like, do you know what self-made means? That one
seems to be a contradiction there.
Yeah, I don't know. That was weird to me. But anyway, what were we talking about before we got on sad and scary movies?
Okay, here we go. My time in the Marine Corps was very fortunate. I got back from my first deployment. They wanted me to go on a second one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was the one who turned it down.
Yeah, that's kind of unheard of, sort of.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it worked out for Cross, if you remember Clint Cross.
Yeah.
He's the one that ended up taking my spot. So
that dude, man, I haven't talked to or thought of that guy in a while either. How's he doing?
Good, I think. I mean, I only see stuff on Instagram. I think he just had I want to say it was another baby boy, but he's got 2 boys now. So,
wow.
Yeah.
God, fucking everybody's having kids, man. Shit.
Everybody's getting old. Yeah.
No thanks. No kids for me.
Not for you? Not yet? All right.
I don't know. It's not really my thing, man. I don't think I have the patience for kids.
Maybe if it was your kid.
That's what I've been told. You know, the only kid that I really every time, I mean, I haven't spent nearly as much time with her as I would like, but Cam Bartz, I'm the godfather of his daughter, Grace.
All right.
And when we saw them, she was probably like 6 or 7 months old, I think, when we went to see them. And like, she was a lot because she was like 6 months old. Right. But I was like, okay, I love you. I love you. But pretty much every other kid, I'm like, you're kind of annoying. Lexi comes from a family with a lot of kids, and I've gotten better. Like, I don't dread hanging out with them as much as I did when we first started dating. but it's just so taxing, like mentally and physically. It's just so draining because kids are just bottomless pits of need, and I'm just like, I just want to watch the fucking basketball. Like, this happened a couple days ago. I was like, sports are finally back, and I'm like eyes glued to the screen watching some basketball game. I forget who was playing, but Lexi's got a 3-year-old cousin who's hilarious, but he's sitting there and he's literally holding my face and tilting it toward him away from the TV, shouting at me, like trying to tell me something about some game with a shark. That's what I remember of it. But
hey, it's pretty damn important. You better look.
Clearly. But I was like, Killian, I am enthralled by your shark game. Go do it over there. Because the TV's right there, and I can pretend to watch you with the shark and watch the game.
That's pretty smart. You're thinking.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it'd be kind of cool to have a kid someday, and I'm not putting it off the table altogether. But like, the fact that there are people that I know and that I serve with that have like 3 kids and they're my age or younger, I'm like, why? They're like, dude, it's the best. I'm like, you know what else is the best? Being able to do anything that I want anytime. Like,
yeah.
But speaking of babies, you're expecting, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Baby boy is coming in October. So,
all jokes aside, I'm really excited for you. That's awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we were, trying. This one is intentional, so we're very happy that everything's gone well and he's doing well. And his due date is just a couple days after my birthday in October, so
nice.
Might be kismet, and we're the same date.
That would be dope.
Yeah,
you got a name?
So. We got some top contenders.
Okay. Privileged
we're not
information.
sharing with anybody. But yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Is this your first kid?
We want to see, kid number 1.
Nice.
We want to see his face and like, hey, you look like a, that name or that name.
Don't all newborn babies kind of look like lizards though for a little bit?
I've heard they look like aliens. Yeah.
Nice.
So
you look like a Glornak 7, like.
Right, exactly. You look like a mucus covered thing. But no, we've been into more like the holistic lifestyle and stuff. So we're not giving birth in a hospital.
Really?
We're doing the birth center thing.
How does that work?
It's like the midwife and doula type of a lifestyle thing. So,
okay. So no epidural?
I get to be the one. Nope.
Woof.
Katie wants to do au naturel, baby.
Well, pour some out for Katie because you're a stronger person than me, dude. No thanks.
Yeah, so she's stronger than me, man. But because of that setting, I get to be the one to catch the kid when, everything's happening. So super pumped for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And props to you for wanting ringside seats to that. Because, like, I've heard it's fucking pretty wild in that place.
It's going to be gnarly, man. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. But
that's so exciting. Especially for your first kid.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really cool way to do it.
Yeah. Yep. Hopefully with all of them, if there are more. But, yeah, for this first one, we're living it up.
Dude, that's awesome. That's so exciting. See, that's the thing is I like gassing up people that are very genuinely excited about it. Like I love talking shit about it because like it riles up people that I don't care about. But like when people that I am like when I get excited for people to have their own kids that they want and have been trying for and stuff like that, I genuinely do get really excited for folks. So I'm really juiced for you, man. That's dope.
Thanks, man. We're pumped. We still have a bunch of stuff to do before October.
Yeah, but... are you ever truly ready though? Are you guys do you guys have like a nursery or whatever?
We cleared out the room for it. We're gonna do like the crib and stuff, I think, next week.
Nice.
So dad stuff. I get to put together some IKEA furniture.
Fun. Nice.
Yeah, right.
I have to do that too. We just got a desk. Oh, pro tip for your next one. Do a gender reveal. It's like this is an unethical pro tip, but if you do a gender reveal, I discovered this when I threw one for Cam.
Yeah.
You can basically score a whole nother round of baby shit.
Oh, that's cool.
So like you have the baby shower and you get all the gifts and stuff. If you do a gender
Right.
reveal as well, you get even more.
You
stuff.
get gifts. Okay. Well, we did do a gender reveal, and we did get gifts.
Loot?
So
Perfect.
I can confirm.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. We I want to say it was like June, towards the end of June 24th. We went to the ultrasound, found out what baby boy was, and the nurse put it in an envelope, so we didn't get to see it.
Mm.
And then that night we went to a bar, and for the first time since like March, invited out a bunch of friends and family. And then we did like the cake cutting thing where the middle was blue, and everybody was stoked. But yeah, it's a good time.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's a cool. It's a relatively like new thing, right? Gender reveals.
I think so. Because people go crazy with them.
Yeah. Have you seen the hilarious ones when they go wrong?
No, I haven't.
Dude, there was one that I saw where it's this couple and they have a huge black balloon like tied to the ground. And they're whacking it with like wiffle ball bats, like kind of like a reverse piñata.
Right.
And the idea is that they're supposed to pop it and the color will fall out. It doesn't. It doesn't pop. It, of course, dislodges from the ground, starts flying away. They start chasing it. The dad tries jumping over the fence, falls hilariously, and then it hits a power line. And like explodes. It was awesome. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
That sounds cool. Did they still get to see what color it was, or
I don't think so.
Did it burn up? Yeah,
I think so. I think it burned up, and I think that the wife was kind of tending to the wounded husband because he beefed it so hard off of the fence. It was awesome. But yeah, I think
parkour.
I think it's a cool tradition, or little event. But I mean,
sure.
Now, kind of all social gatherings are kind of put off.
Yeah.
Like how many people?
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah. Do you know anybody who had like a wedding or something planned that got torpedoed by COVID?
Not torpedoed. We had one wedding in June, and they had to change venues last minute, and everything that accompanies that, changing everything. But they still made it happen.
Good for them.
So yeah, it was cool. It was it was pretty nice. They threw together a very, very, very beautiful wedding, and pretty excited to see.
That's cool. I like hearing those success stories because it's so depressing seeing people post about like we would have been getting married today, and you're like, oh, bummer.
Yeah.
How is COVID? Is COVID bad where you are?
As far as like the personal goes, we only know one person who's confirmed to have had it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness. But she's young like us, so she's okay. It was a week-long thing, and she's fine.
Good.
But I think Iowa. I think we're doing okay as far as the death rate goes. Maybe like 1,000 or 2,000 deaths, which each one is horrible. But I think that's doing pretty well compared to the rest of the nation. So.
Yeah, no kidding. 2,000 or 3,000
What about
deaths.
California? It's no good, right?
Yeah. No, not really. It's. I mean, it was looking a little better for a little while, and then the curve unflattened, and yeah. I was optimistic but also kind of not surprised when it took the turn that it did.
True.
And the problem is like I'm living in this weird state of cognitive dissonance where, like, part of me is like, this shit is blown so far out of proportion, and like all the information we're getting is misleading, and everything's contradictory, and you have all these different sources telling you all these different things, and like who fucking knows what to do anymore. And then there's this other part that's like watching everything go haywire again, and it's like, maybe I should just barricade myself in my house for like a month, and maybe this is really, really serious, and
right.
Maybe I am being an asshole by even thinking all these different things, and it's
right.
It's confusing, and it's tiring, and I'm tired of it. So I hope that this is all behind all of us soon, because I think people are really the word that I would describe it is like, I feel frayed at the edges. Where it's like, I'm so tired of being like bombarded by contradicting information coming from people who are just angry. And I mean, rightfully so. Like, this is a weird time to live, but it's just, everyone's so angry. Like, somebody yelled at one of my coworkers for not wearing a mask on the sidewalk from across the street. She's like, "Put your fucking mask on!" And, this is like the middle of the day, and she's just walking down the street. She had a mask on, like, it was like on but pulled down, because she was not near anyone.
Right.
And this lady from across the road is like, "Put your fucking mask on!" And it's like, what are we doing?
Right.
It's just everyone's over it. And people are talking about this whole, like, where things are never going back to normal. And I think that's one of the more depressing things to think about. It's like whether or not it'll, there's no end state. So I don't know.
I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, buddy, but I know when it ends. Are you ready?
Hit me.
Your podcast is about to have the biggest scoop of the year.
Oh, yeah?
It's all over the day after the elections.
I've been hearing that. Yeah, I have been hearing that.
I don't want that to be the case. It's just, it feels like a political tool now, and it's not. Like you're saying, everybody's fatigued because we can't listen to one source and know exactly what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish it wasn't that way. So I'm mostly joking. But, by the end of the year, this might just be like the new flu or a common cold. So.
Well, I was listening to something that was pretty interesting, and I don't want to talk about COVID too much because everyone's fucking sick of hearing about it. But
sure.
I was listening to a podcast with an epidemiologist, and he works with viruses, and he was talking about the economic damage of what would happen if COVID did become just another flu. Because, like, think about how many days of work every American misses in their working careers because of the common cold and the flu. It's kind of a lot.
Probably more than you would think.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
And so it's like, if you add another annual outbreak of COVID, which, is not implausible. Right. That would just add to the number of sick days people would have to take, especially because of how easily transmissible it is. Right. And I mean, that's obviously.
But it's like, I don't know, with everyone working from home because of these weird circumstances, I'm sure a lot of employers are thinking, like, go ahead, be sick at home, but maybe put in, what you can as far as work goes, and it works out for everybody.
Yeah. I'm hoping that a lot of, things that can be, not outsourced, but can be done from home will be going forward, because I think that would just improve a lot of people's quality of life. But
Yeah.
I'm concerned for like the hospitality industry and the entertainment industry. Like I'm here in Southern California. Like I've talked about it before. I'm a bartender at a brewery, and there's hundreds of breweries in California, especially here. This is like the craft beer mecca of the West Coast,
Right.
and half of them are probably going to go under. Like, I read a statistic that it was almost 60% of bars and small restaurants in the United States are going to be closed by the time this is all over.
Yeah, I heard like 50,000 small businesses are already, can't operate anymore. They're closed. They're bankrupt. They're done.
Mm-hmm. I personally know several people who worked at breweries that are now defunct, that were like established businesses, like not,
True.
A mom and pop operation that, was hanging on by a thread anyway. And then this was the straw that broke the camel's back. Like these were, legitimate businesses that are now gone, that people are like, like a well-known one is Iron Fist Brewing Company. Bless you. It was Iron Fist Brewing Company. It was a mainstay in North County, San Diego, and it's closed. And when I tell people about it, they're like, flabbergasted by it. But I don't disagree with you that I think part of me thinks that this may be being exaggerated for politics from both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to say it's just to make our president look bad or make the challenger look bad. I think it's bipartisan fuckery if it is happening.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one thing when we get into these types of discussions with our friends. I always try to, I don't know how I want to word it, but just like, I know that everybody's fucked up, like I'm not just against one side or I have my side. I feel like we should all just understand that human beings are in charge of things. And this was something totally new. And some people got it right, some people got it wrong. And that, it's across party lines. It's not like one person or party did the exact right thing the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing going into this election is like, do you want this is obviously a gross generalization, but do you want the 70-plus-year-old kind of perverted or like, outwardly perverted,
right?
Guy with sexual assault allegations against him in the red tie? Or do you want the 70-plus-year-old outwardly perverted, somewhat increasingly senile, like guy with sexual assault allegations against him in the blue tie?
Right.
And it's like, how did we fucking get here, man?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why vote Joe Jorgensen 2020.
Yeah, sure. What the hell? Why not?
I mean, if you're, I probably will. I don't want to write in like Harambe or something, but it's a lot of people did that in the 2016 elections, but.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, big time. I didn't vote in the 2016 elections, and I'm kicking myself for it, just on principle. But so
right.
I'm gonna vote this year, and I'll probably do it for Mama Joe.
Mama Joe.
Yeah, Joe Jorgensen. She's
I guess.
For those of you who don't know, she's the Libertarian candidate, and if anything, it's just because I want my vote to go toward the eventual kind of turning of the ship away from the two-party system, which is, any system that distills 350 million people down to Donald Trump and Joe Biden is not a good system.
Yeah.
So
I wish it worked better. I don't know. Feels like some days we have like a legislature that doesn't legislate. We have a judicial branch that doesn't do anything. and then everybody looks at whoever the president is and says, "Hey, can you fix this thing?" And it's like, I don't know. It's not supposed to work that way.
No, and it doesn't work that way, but it always falls.
Well, yeah, exactly. It doesn't even work that way. Yeah.
The thing that I'm doing my degree in administration of justice, so I've been doing a lot of classes in, government and the judicial and legislative branches and stuff. And one of the things that one of my professors said was our system was written to be perfect. The problem is it's implemented by people, which are inherently imperfect.
Yeah.
Like if you could have just a perfect example of, how everything was written, it would be a perfect system. But as soon as you add the human variable, it can't be perfect anymore.
Right.
Which it's a sad realization, but it is true.
Right. You can't fix the human element of anything.
Yeah.
That's why, I don't know, so many people want the world to be perfect. It's just, we're not going to get there, friend.
Nope. No, we are not.
Sorry, buddy.
No, we are not.
I'm too shitty a person. I'm going to drag you down.
You and me both, bro. People, yeah, we are all scum. That's how it is.
Yeah. That's why, I don't know, like, where your religious belief is at or anything, but I feel like at least when people were studying the Bible, there's a part in Romans, I think, that says all fall short of the glory of God. And like, even if you don't believe in like Christianity or Islam, or you're not following any doctrine, like just reading that statement and understanding that everybody's shitty, that would help the world so much.
Yeah. At that point, you could, even if you're not religious, you could just take that as not, you don't have to take it from the perspective of God is perfect. You could take it from the perspective as you and everybody else are not, and that's okay.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah.
I think that's a good way to look at things. But that's actually why I think these conversations are important to have is, it's a diminishing or a vanishing process to have a long form conversation with a person whose face you can see.
Right.
And this is kind of a cheap imitation. I would much rather, have you be sitting across from me.
Sure.
Drinking from the same bottle of bourbon. That would be super dope. And hopefully we'll get there eventually. But
shout out to Mr. McConaughey once again.
Yeah. Yeah. Who I will tag in this. Matthew McConaughey, your bourbon is delicious. Thanks a lot.
Yes, it is.
And you were great in Dallas Buyers Club.
An underrated classic.
Definitely.
For sure.
Super bummer, but definitely a quality movie. I didn't see.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think I saw. Oh my God, what's the space movie that he was in?
Oh, Interstellar.
Was that it?
Yeah, that's another great one.
Yeah, I never saw that one.
It's a lot to sit through, and it makes you think. But I'm a big Chris Nolan fan, so. I was game.
Yeah, okay. If it's Christopher Nolan, I'll give it a go. The first movie of his that I ever saw of Matthew McConaughey's was Sahara. Have you ever seen that movie?
Okay. Oh yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
Love it. I had it on my TiVo when I was like 11. Me and my family watched it all the time.
It's classic. It's so bad it's good. It's like National Treasure,
It's a lot like National Treasure, actually. Yeah. It is absolute lunacy, but Steve Zahn's hilarious. William H. Macy is good in everything that he's in.
Yep.
I forget who played the bad guy, but and who was
he's good too.
Yeah, and who was the Bond girl? Was Penelope Cruz?
Penelope Cruz.
Yeah, she was awesome too. But yeah, it's treasure hunting and finding a ship in a desert. That's dope.
And then using the cannons to take out a helicopter.
Yeah, of the most stereotypical African warlord ever.
Yep.
Complete with cigar, aviators, and beret.
He's got the beret on, and oh yeah.
So bad. Looking back on
That
it
was
now,
early 2000s, right?
yeah, big time. It's probably 2000. Let's find out. We have the technology. When was Sahara released?
Sahara music from and inspired by the motion picture by various artists came out on the 1st of January 2005.
I don't know why it gave.
Apparently the technology doesn't work.
Yeah, well, I mean, it said 2005, but that was the original soundtrack. Not sure why it did that and not the movie, but we'll take
it's around there.
Yeah, but yeah, that was my introduction to early 2000s heartthrob, and now University of Texas motivational speaker and
Yep.
Have you seen that video?
Yeah, I've seen that. That's a good one.
It's so good. And yeah, bourbon blender, I guess. Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. Well, so when I was down in Kentucky last year during the tour, I got a little bit of the history, and he approached Wild Turkey and said, I need to be a spokesperson for this brand. At least that's how the story was told to me. And so just knowing that someone so passionately wanted to be involved with something that I enjoy thoroughly is pretty awesome, you know.
That is awesome. I mean, I enjoy it a lot. I'm like I said, I'm relatively new to bourbon. I'm a craft beer guy. I work in a brewery. And so, making the jump from beer to spirits, I was like, well, I'm still kind of that obnoxious, like, vet bro patriot, so I gotta go with the only true blue American spirit, which was bourbon.
Yep.
And I like whiskey, but I started with Irish whiskey because I used to drink Jameson a lot when I was in the Marine Corps.
Sure.
It's so harsh to drink it, straight. And then I went to Scotch, which is delicious. I still drink Scotch, but bourbon is so sweet. And
yeah, I love it.
So I started with Buffalo Trace.
Yum.
Which is like my go-to. And then
I would encourage you to go down to Kentucky sometime to their distillery. You can all of the buildings are original.
That's dope.
They've got newer buildings, but on the property there's original buildings, and you can feel just, I don't know, the American spirit, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel that something is there on that ground. Awesome.
I believe it. Have you seen there's a doc, do you have Hulu?
Yeah, I saw it. Neat.
Yeah, Neat.
I know what you're talking about.
Dude, I watched that. There's a really great one about Scotch too. It's called The Golden Dream.
Okay, I haven't seen that one.
It's about it follows a couple different like master blenders of like different Scotch distilleries, and the island of Islay. It's like this tiny island off the coast of Scotland, and it's known for its barley that's turned into the Scotch.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, it was wild following this like one particular guy his whole career. He he was working at a couple different distilleries and became a master distiller, and then he like bought a defunct distillery on that island where he grew up.
Okay.
And he like worked there when he was a kid, like shoveling grain and stuff, and it had closed. And so he like bought it and went in on it with a couple like other, like basically the distillation version of like gypsy brewers where they just go and distill at different places. And he like turned it around completely, and it won like best single malt like 3 years in a row.
That's incredible.
It's super wild. Like,
I need to watch that.
It's a really, really good movie. If you're into that kind of stuff,
Have
there's
you
a lot
seen
of that good stuff on Hulu. There's a wine one too called Somme. That was nuts.
Ooh. I would watch that.
Yeah.
Have you seen? No, go ahead.
Oh,
I want to know
gonna
about it.
say it's about these guys that are taking the master sommelier program or the test, and it like goes in depth about like the test itself and how insane it is, and it's like a full-time job for like 3 years before these guys do it, and like
Wow.
yeah, it's been around since the test has been around since like the 80s or something, and there's like 170 master sommeliers in the world. Yeah, it's nuts. But what were you gonna say?
That's an elite club.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask if you've seen Parks and Rec.
I've seen a few episodes.
Okay, it's an obscure reference. Never mind. The character Ron Swanson, Nick Offerman's character. You know, he's the like curmudgeon-y conservative libertarian guy.
Yeah.
And they get him a trip to go drink scotch because that's his drink out in Scotland, and just the view of him. I forget which distillery it's at, but just the view out off the island or the cliffs wherever they are, it's just incredible.
That's dope.
Takes your breath away. Yeah.
Yeah, Scotland's a beautiful place, man.
Yeah.
It's rainy, but it looked really. I mean, it looked really pretty while I was watching.
Makes for hard people.
Yeah. And good liquor. Give him that.
Yep. Oh yeah. There you go.
Dude, the Ron Swanson, I think the best bit of his was where he hands the ranger. He hands the ranger the permit, and it's just a piece of paper. Yep. He's like, I do what I want.
Yeah.
I couldn't really get into that show for the same reason I never really got into The Office, where like kind of how along the lines of like, I don't like being scared. Like, I don't like cringing for other people. Like, I get sympathetically embarrassed for people.
Just that awkward feeling is overwhelming.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh God, like I just need to go take a shower to get this moment off me.
Yeah. That's how I felt too. Just got like with The Office, especially, you just push through the first season. Push through it.
Really?
And then you love it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much.
That's
TV,
a big time commitment. But
yeah,
exactly.
It is. It's like the opposite of Game of Thrones, where it's like if you just pretend the last season and a half don't exist, it's definitely like one of the best shows ever made.
That's what I've heard. Never seen it.
I binged it on deployment, and it was pretty awesome. Like,
all right.
I really enjoyed it a lot. If you like, political intrigue and high fantasy and stuff like that, it was
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
But it goes to show the power of public opinion, because that was the biggest show ever, and now anytime you hear anybody talk about it, it's only about how shitty the ending was.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Huge. It's big time. I feel like it's
because there's some really big actors in that show.
Yeah.
Like what? Which other ones?
Lost was that way. I remember people were really upset about the ending of Lost.
I loved the ending of Lost.
People were not pleased about it, if I recall correctly. I couldn't get into Lost. I tried so hard on deployment. Sopranos, kind of. People were a little upset about the ending of that one.
Yep, I remember that one because you're like, did he get shot?
Yeah, do they all die?
It just kind of ends. What's the deal here?
Right. Yeah. Let's see. Video game wise, Mass Effect. Everyone was angry about the ending of Mass Effect, but I think those are the most like notable of the TV shows. But yeah, it was just.
I just finished The Umbrella Academy. Have you watched that yet?
I heard that was good.
Very good.
I haven't seen it, but
somebody just told me. Look, go ahead.
It's from a graphic novel that was written by the lead singer of My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. How
Really?
wild is that?
That's funny.
Yeah. The show is awesome, and I never knew that person was involved in it at all.
Yeah, Gerard Way. He was, I found that out, and I was like, I used to love My Chemical Romance. I had like, a serious emo phase, and like, late junior high, like freshman year of high school. And yeah, I listened to a lot of MCR. And then, I was so upset when they like stopped, touring and releasing albums and stuff. And then when I found that out, I was like, that's what that motherfucker's been up to all this time? Writing graphic novels? Like, I was pissed.
And they're good?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously they're awesome, but I was like, motherfucker, no, stay doing the fucking music. But, but anyway, we got super off track. So
yeah, we did. I don't remember the last Marine Corps thing that we said. It's crazy.
Either. So, but
you're forgetting the message of your show, sir.
I'm just happy we're back, man. No, it's I'm just happy to be doing this again.
Yeah.
But
well, it's fun so far. I can't imagine what it's like for you getting to, talk to a bunch of people.
It's
especially
cool.
from the old days.
Yeah. That's the best part is talking to people and, kind of like you said, looking back on everything with the rose tinted glasses, talking to the people that you had all of those fun memories with, like brings them all back, which is good. But generally people have like had a pretty hard time, and so that's kind of hard. Which has kind of been nice that you didn't really have that shitty of a time in the Marine Corps. It doesn't sound like. So
yeah.
Which is a nice change of pace a little bit. I mean, I don't want to discount what everyone else, went through and said, but I don't want, like I said at the beginning, I don't want it to just be let's shit on the military all the time. But
right.
So kind of getting back to the heart of the show, you mentioned that was most of the coping mechanisms to get through the hard times were homies, video games, gym.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much for the most part.
And then, so you get out. You were married by that point, obviously.
Yeah. Yep. We married May 2016, and I got out June of 2017.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
We had a full year, married in the military, and then we moved back here. So.
Okay. So you get out, you move back. Did you have any kind of growing pains, during that transition? Because that's generally, the crux of the show is, people finding that the transition out is different or more difficult or both than they anticipated. So, did you kind of really run into anything like that?
Well, I had a job lined up in Georgia doing contract work when we left California, and that was going to be all good. I was going to hear back in a few months, they won the contract, come on down. And we liked being around family so much that we just decided to stick around. And so I think what helped with dealing with the feeling of being lost post Marine Corps was being around family, and having such a great support structure that we're very fortunate to have.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't have as rough a time as other people, so I feel pretty fortunate. And I, like you said, I don't want to discount their experiences by, making up some sort of hardship for myself. But there were days when it's my whole life is completely different. I don't see my best friends anymore. What am I doing with my life? Kind of a overwhelming feeling,
Yeah, definitely.
So in that time, I decided to read more, listen to podcasts. I started running.
I was going to bring that up, actually, the running, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like that's what I'm known for.
Well, it's the consistency on your social media of just these astronomical runs.
Last year was pretty good.
I hate running. I hate it. I hated it before the Marine Corps, during, and to the present. I fucking loathe running. So seeing that on your social media so regularly, I'm like, oh my, this dude is serious. What got you? What
Yeah.
got you into that?
It's a legacy of the Marine Corps, man. I showed up to DLI and I was overweight, so I got put on the BCP like fat platoon program, and that's when I started hanging out with Herman and Cody around that same time, and they were like, just come to the run team practices where nobody's gonna bother you if you're slow. Just come do the workouts. And so I don't know. Since then, it's just like a happy place, I guess. So I did the run team thing despite being, absurdly slow.
Hey,
And, I was still out there doing it. I was running like 4 miles with them and then 4 miles the next day with like a fire team workout and then like 5 on the weekends. So it was a nice little schedule I had going.
Wow.
But when we got out, well, I got out, but my wife came with me.
Mm-hmm.
I had all this free time, and I was like, I need to stay fit so that I don't become, I don't know, just this sloth of a human being who can't get up the stairs. I'm thinking about just like 50 years from now, always looking ahead.
That's smart.
So I started just running a lot, and I haven't really given it up. I woke up and ran this morning, actually. So
you're a madman.
Yeah, I'd like to do an ultra someday. So
woof.
We'll see if we can get that going.
I mean, shit, dude. Yeah, that would be super awesome.
Yeah, it'd be dope.
And you can, you mentioned a few weeks ago that you were doing, it was a charity. Was it a run for charity or like an event?
Oh, I mean, it was my own event. It wasn't an actual event, but I have a fundraising page with Special Operations Warriors Foundation, and I heard about them when I read David Goggins' book.
Okay.
Because that's the same organization that he was trying to help out when he started getting into ultras and stuff.
Okay.
And so I set up a fundraising page for them. And what they do is they take care of families of our special operations warriors who've given their lives. So they take care of getting the kids, set up for school when the time comes, and just supporting the family any way that they can. So I have that page. It's still live, but I messaged you about July 4th. I ran a CFT, and then 7 miles directly afterwards.
Yikes.
So yeah, that was a rough day. Didn't raise any money,
terrible.
but I'll go out and do it again anytime.
But yeah, dude, that's super awesome. So yeah, we'll definitely try to divert a little bit of traffic your way. Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
Appreciate it. It's a small goal because I know, like I always feel like I'm getting caught up in this feeling that I'm a social media influencer or something crazy like that, and I don't want to give into that delusion. So I set a lower monetary goal, but they need whatever they can get,
Yeah, anything's better than nothing. That's
right.
I kind of fell into that trap when I started the show. Is like I would post an episode and then I would like obsessively check the stats to see like how many people were like listening and stuff.
Yeah.
And I kind of just reached this point where I was like, you know what? If people are listening, it doesn't matter if it's now or 5 years from now. I'm okay with that.
Right.
And that took some time to get there, but it's hard to not fall into that delusion where you're like, maybe you get imposter syndrome a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
where you're like,
right.
I don't know, but I'm glad that you're doing that, and I'm glad that you have that perspective and that you're not disappointed or you're not shooting too high and then disappointing yourself.
Right.
I think
and like with the thing that I did on the 4th, like I had a good time getting in a good workout, and this auxiliary benefit would have been getting some money for this cause that I believe in. So it was going to be a win-win either way on that day.
Absolutely. Are you planning on doing anything else like that in the future?
I have a few events in mind where it's like, if we get all the money that we need by the end of the week, I'll run 11 miles a day for the next 11 days or something stupid like that.
Woof.
I don't see the incentive for you to pledge the money just to see that happen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I have some other ideas, like some shirts and stuff that I can design and then get cranked out.
Yeah, that'd be
But,
awesome.
Yeah,
That'd be really exciting.
I just want to. It's just important. I don't know. I feel like it's important to try to do good things, especially this year with all the craziness going on.
No kidding.
Even the small things that you can do for people, it all helps.
Yeah. Anything, like I said, anything's better than nothing, man. And that's cool
Right.
that you have that kind of service-minded perspective and that motivation to help others. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Other than not just your desire to run. That's another positive thing that you took out of the Marine Corps. So what you got out? You went to Drake. You said Drake University.
Yeah. So I started my university experience at community college first semester
Mm-hmm.
because I had that job lined up down in Georgia to do contracting, and so I thought I could just kill a semester getting some gen eds out of the way.
Yeah.
And that job, didn't come to fruition. We chose not to pursue that, and we stayed here. And then I got on it at Drake after applying. So I was there 2018, and then I just graduated in May of this year. So compared to most people's college experiences, that was pretty darn fast.
Yeah, definitely. So what's your degree in?
Pretty utilitarian. I went business management and data analytics.
That is utilitarian, but exceedingly
Trying
useful.
to get a job.
Yeah, that's the.
That is the new oil, so I just wanted to be in a good position.
Yeah, data is, not the most stimulating job field to be in, but it's definitely the new oil is definitely a great way to put it. Like it's an entirely new commodity.
Yeah,
and that's from a business standpoint very exciting. That's cool, dude.
Yeah.
And then so you have a job you mentioned before the show that you have a job lined up.
Yep. Yeah. I, in the meantime, because of COVID, it was a hard time finding a job.
Yeah.
So I got on at a warehouse doing shipping and receiving for truck parts. So it's honest work and pays pretty well.
Nice.
So I've been doing that, and by the end of the month, I'll be a salesman at Fujitsu selling printers and scanners. So
right on.
It's gonna be lit. Baby boy's gonna be taken care of. That's all I care.
Gonna get paid. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Hey man, I mean, sales is not easy, but if you can get good at sales, that will be probably the most useful part of business acumen that you will use for the remainder of your career.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm hoping I'm good at it. Who knows?
You're a personable guy. The one thing that I learned from selling cars is you sell yourself, which sounds awful, but once you establish that rapport, the products generally will sell themselves, which I know sounds like the most like business workshop-y bullshit in the world, but if people are looking for a specific thing, chances are you'll have a product that fits the bill. So it's pretty easy from that standpoint.
Right.
I hope your work environment is better than mine, and mine was. But you said you're going to be working from home, so I mean that sounds dope.
Yeah, remote. So I just have to worry about our new roommate interrupting my phone calls.
Yeah, that's going to be your new roommate. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you going to be working around that? Katie's not going to be working, I'm assuming then.
No, Katie's dream is to be a mom. And so
Perfect.
One of the great things about getting a job lined up for me before baby's here is that she gets to do that. So I plan on working upstairs at a desk, and her and baby can have the rest of the house.
Win.
Right?
Dude, that's so awesome. I love that everything is just kind of like falling into place so nicely, especially when it feels like the world is falling apart all around us.
Right. Yeah, and it was that way for a while for us. Like, finished school, thought I had a job lined up, and because, COVID hit, everybody's working from home. They didn't need me to fill that role anymore, budget cuts and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know what we're going to do, So, tons of applications went out. I spoke to, a bunch of people about, can I get in here? Can I get in there? And, finally something stuck. So,
that's awesome.
Very fortunate. Yeah.
Yeah, everything's looking up Minger.
Yeah,
Nice.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
2020 might not be the worst of it, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, don't put all your eggs in the 2020 suddenly becoming a great year basket. But I am happy for you, like super happy for you that it's not as cataclysmically bad as it seems to be in a lot of other ways.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Of course. Yeah. But, so you have the baby coming. You've got a job, hopefully kind of career-oriented job lined up. You've got your degree. You've got the wife is going to be fulfilling her dream as a mother. Like, what else are you kind of like what else have you got in the works? You're doing the you're doing that Special Operations Warrior Foundation stuff kind of down the pipeline. Are you kind of working on anything else? You got like a sick hobby shop in your garage or something?
No, I wish. For me, it's just putting the miles in my free time, and I've been reading. I'm in my second 75-day kind of challenge for the year.
Mm-hmm.
So I started January 1st until March 16th.
Mm-hmm.
And for that one, I was doing read 10 pages a day, get in 45 minutes worth of working out. I was plant-based until dinner. During that time, I was sober the entire time.
Woof.
And that was crazy. So I did that, felt pretty good. And then just lately, I felt like I needed something else going on. Especially, I read the news too much, so everything's dire. And then, I want to go grab ice cream and pizza all the time, and that doesn't help. So just wanted to do a reset. And so that was about 3 weeks ago. So I think I'm on 23, 24. Anyways, I've been reading 15 pages a day, getting in 60 minutes of working out every day, taking my vitamins. I'm doing gluten-free for my diet just because plant-based is awful. I don't know, just little things. That's something that I'm working on right now, which is more like a working on me. But my dog is getting comfortable on the couch.
I heard the shake earlier, and I was like, "Is that a dog?"
Yeah, she's cute. I think. Can I reverse the camera on here? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. Oh my goodness! You are the spottiest dog I've ever seen in my life. Or are those curls?
Yeah.
Is that curly?
She's a Wheaten Terrier poodle.
A Wheaten Terrier. A what now?
A Wheaten Terrier poodle mix. So it's a woodle, is what they call it.
A woodle.
Yeah.
Is her hair curly or spotty?
Curly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
She looks like a.
She feels like velvet.
Oh my gosh.
She's cute.
I'm obsessed with dogs. If you couldn't tell.
Yeah, you should get one. Good dog.
Well, we have our Penelope, and she's not the biggest fan of other dogs. So
that's fair. She wants mom and dad to herself.
Yeah, she's a real brat.
Yeah,
but she's very cute.
That's funny. What was I saying? Oh, I want to start my own podcast. I have T-shirt designs that I'd want to make into, something. I have more education that I want to pursue. I was supposed to start graduate school last month, but not having a job and COVID and everything, I decided it's not the right time.
Smart. Sucks, but it's smart.
Yeah.
But
But
dude, definitely start a podcast. I can tell
Alright.
you it's incredibly rewarding, and it's really easy. Like, it's time consuming, but like if you like talking, which I obviously do, it's great. You just get to talk to
Yeah.
people. The equipment is not super expensive, and that's if you want to buy equipment. You could just as easily do it with your your headphones, the ones you're using right now.
just my Apple headphones.
Yeah, you sound fine. You 100% could do that. What
Thanks, man.
would you make your podcast about?
Just anything that I'm thinking about that day. And the one thing that holds me back from doing that is because who cares what I have to say, you know? I'm just some guy in Iowa hanging out, trying to make some sales. But
Then don't do a podcast. Do like a vlog or something, and you don't even need to post it if you don't want to. Having it for posterity
That's true.
just might be good.
Yeah, it's just sometimes I feel like I'm going throughout my day and I have this one thought that I go over and over and I try to work through.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be cool to just get that out there, because sometimes it feels like I've reached a moment of clarity on a certain topic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if I can, like you're saying, if I can at least record it, it's out there and it's no longer just internalized, then I'd probably feel better.
Yeah.
know?
Sometimes just articulating it in a way that it doesn't even need to like reach any other people necessarily, but sometimes just articulating something that you feel was beneficial to you in some way. Like, I mean, if people listening to this episode probably aren't super interested by the fact that I don't like horror movies, you know, like who gives a shit, right? But like, you know, if I like putting these, you know, these musings and these little bits about me out there because I like feeling like I can connect with people that I might never meet, which that's interesting to me. And, you know, sometimes you and I could be like talking about something and we like reach this conclusion together about some complex issue that we may not have come up with had we not both been, you know, kind of chewing on it and bouncing ideas off each other. And then that combined perspective is now available to anybody who wants to hear it. It's
Sure.
You know, but who cares that people might not be super interested in the day-to-day minutia of your life? You're probably right. That's why I have a Twitter, but I barely use it because I know people aren't interested in like 99% of what goes on in most people's lives. Right. But if you think of something poignant and you think it might benefit somebody, or it might just benefit you to actually verbalize it instead of just kind of, you know, chewing on it and ruminating on it mentally for a couple hours, like actually vocalizing it, you know, and recording it, even if it's something as simple as recording it and putting it on like a vlog Instagram page, that might be good. And
might be it.
Yeah. Or just, you know, or start a podcast, because I can tell you it's a great time and I would recommend it to anybody.
That's funny. I wish you had like a sponsor or something. You could be like, yeah, start a podcast. Brought to you by Manscaped. And then you like do the thumbs up at the camera.
Yeah. Well, brought to you by Matthew McConaughey and Wild Turkey Bourbon.
Let's just, if we can say his name like 100 times, we got to bump those up.
Exactly. Maybe it's like Bloody Mary, and like if we like just shake our bottles 3 times and say Matthew McConaughey, he'll
show up behind you.
He'll appear and be like, "This is a great show you got here, kid." Here. I'm sponsoring you now. Brought to you, like, the Hanging Up the Boots podcast, brought to you by Wild Turkey.
Sponsored by Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, not Wild Turkey.
Featuring
Colin. Yeah. The Hanging Up the Boots podcast with Matthew McConaughey, parentheses, featuring Colin Black. That'd be wild.
That'd be funny.
That'd be wild. Dude. But no, I mean, I think you should do it, man. The creativity is something that I don't think enough people invest their time in. And not everybody is creative.
Right.
Like when people think about creativity, they think of painting or music or something like that. And I am not that way. Like I love listening to music and like playing instruments and stuff. I find that interesting, but I can't, like if you sat me down and put a gun to my head and told me to compose a song or draw something original,
No dice, huh?
no, not at all. But
Yep.
I can talk. I'm a bartender. I love talking. And
Right.
I've always been that way. So like this was a way for me to be creative and express, you know, anything I want in a medium that is natural to me. And I think everybody has something like that. And if you think that that would help you, it doesn't even need to help someone else necessarily.
Right.
Like if you think that that would help you bring clarity to your, your musings, fucking do it, bro. And that goes to
Right.
to for anybody listening too. Like, if you think that I think everybody should have a fucking podcast. Not that doesn't mean everybody will listen to it or anyone will listen to it, but being forced to talk about stuff, either your own internal monologue or things you've been thinking about, or just, having good conversations with other good people. If you think that could benefit your life, do it, because the investment versus the reward is like super, super worthwhile.
That's good to hear, man. Sometimes you just need to do things because it works for you. Who cares what everybody else thinks?
Yeah. And you don't even need to publish it if you don't want to. Have a private Instagram page or an unlisted Instagram, or, have an email address that you set up for your son, and then you record these little clips and you just email it to him. And so
that's actually something I thought about. Yeah.
I've seen
that
people
would be
do
dope.
that. And then that way on his, birthday or whenever, you're just like, here's your dad's ramblings from your entire life. Enjoy.
Right.
That'd be cool.
Especially if it's like, unfortunately, I'm not there anymore. That's an everlasting thing that anybody's kid could have to look back on.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yep.
Might be worth it. And if you have any,
yeah, it might be.
If you have any questions, I've run into some pitfalls that I might be able to help out a little bit. There's also so much content online about how to do this. And I mean, a lot of it's like, here's how to make the best podcast ever. Like, use this song and like this. But there's a lot of really good content about, things to stay away from, things that you might want to consider. But yeah, dude, I love doing this, and you'd probably be really good at it. So yeah, you should do it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I only hear good things. Two of my buddies here in Iowa have sports podcasts.
Nice.
And they do well doing that.
That's cool.
So, if anybody's an Iowa Hawkeye fan, tune into the Washed Up Walk-Ons podcast show.
Washed Up Walk-Ons. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude.
Shout out to the Washed Up Walk-Ons out of Iowa.
It's sick, man.
That's dope. Well,
good show.
I'll link them in the show.
I bet they'll love that.
Perfect.
Just two assholes sitting around, and one of them happens to mention their show.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, that's
whatever. Why not?
Small podcasts supporting small podcasts.
Yeah, there you go.
But was there
You
anything
should
else
start your own school union.
My own what?
Your own podcast union is what I meant to say.
Oh, that'd be a terrible idea.
Small podcasts helping out small podcasts.
That's actually that would be really cool. Dude, I wouldn't even know where to start. Like, I've tried networking a little bit to get, high profile people on the podcast. Like, one of my ultimate goals would be, like, my absolute goal for this podcast would be to interview Jocko Willink. That would be the best thing ever.
That would be sick, yeah.
Right? Because, one, I listen to his podcast all the time. Like, I love me some Jocko. But
it's a great show.
Yeah, he's awesome. I'm listening to his episode with Dan Pedersen, I think his name was.
Okay.
Commander Pedersen, the guy who founded Top Gun.
Yeah. I think I saw that was a recent episode.
Dude, awesome. Cannot recommend it enough. Yeah, the guy's.
All right.
He was the original CEO of or the original like one of the founding 9 of Top Gun. Like, and he's pretty advanced in age, and just some of the stories that he's telling in like this, deep, gravelly veteran voice. You're just like, dude, you're
actual
awesome.
badass.
Yeah, like legitimate, just like through and through, fucking badass.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that would be the best. Like having Jocko on, or like Max Uriarty from Terminal Lance, like those guys that had very successful, or some manner of success in the military of varying degrees, but then went on to be very successful outside of the military. Like that would be fascinating to interview them. I think
the guys at Black Rifle Coffee, I think, would be some good guys to interview, and they would probably be down to come and do it too.
That'd be awesome. I actually sent a message to their like Facebook, but that's actually the point that I was trying to make, is that I have no idea how to get in touch with any of these people. Like, I can like tweet at Max Uriarty and be like, hey, let me interview you. Like, but I mean, he probably gets so much of that shit.
Yeah.
So same with Jocko. Like, he's a paid motivational speaker and podcast host and stuff like that. Like, and I mean, I don't have time to pay his speaking, or I don't have the money to pay his speaking rates to be on my show, right?
Yeah.
But
maybe just ask for it pro bono when you tweet at him.
Help me, I'm poor. At Jocko.
Please.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'd be funny.
But I mean, yeah, it'd be kind of cool to do something like that. But I mean, yeah, if you start a podcast, we'll start a little podcasting network.
There you go. You and I work together.
Perfect. We'll just
I like it.
Have 2 really small shows, and we'll get the washed up walk-ons on there too.
That's funny. And the long shots. That's my other buddy's fantasy football show. So if you need any fantasy football help, tune into the long shots.
It blows my mind that people are so into fantasy football that they would like listen to podcasts and read those articles and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't personally get it, and but my buddy, he goes crazy about it. He's just totally into it.
I think it's cool. I do kind of get it. Like, did you ever watch The League?
Yeah, I've seen that show.
So good. But and so like I kind of get it from that regard. Having a tight group of friends that love football. But
true.
I guess it's probably because I can't even remember the last time I could sit down on a Sunday and watch all the games.
Right.
But that would be dope. But yeah, we'll get him in. We'll get our own little our little sports / military / everyday philosophy podcast network going.
There you go. We'll come up with a better name, but I'm in.
Yeah, that's a little wordy, but we'll figure it out. But do you have any like closing ideas for everybody? Because I mean, like I said, normally this is where people are like, yeah, so these coping mechanisms really work for me. And
okay.
It doesn't really sound like you really had that rough of a go, and you were able to maintain a pretty even keel, which again, great to hear. I like hearing success stories like that.
Right.
You were able to utilize your time in the military which was fortuitous in a good way. You were able to foray that into what would have been a good career if not for fucking coronavirus and shit. But
hey, whatever's gonna happen, man.
Yeah, and
it's God's plan.
Yeah, and now you got a baby on the way, and fucking, like I said, everything's looking up Minger. But
I think, I don't know. This is that imposter syndrome that we were talking about earlier. Like, so many people have it worse than I do. Mm-hmm. What can I possibly offer them? I don't have any coping mechanisms. Well,
you run a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say all I can really tell people is to get out there and put some miles on their bodies, because I don't know what it is, but when you get out there and it's like 60 or 70% of what you yourself are capable of. So like for me personally, like if I took off right now, I would get to like mile 5, and I don't know the science behind it, but you enter another plane of existence. You can enter that flow state that people call it. You can pray, as some people do, but whatever that place is, it's going to make you feel totally different about your life when you get back to your house.
Yeah.
Just getting out there and doing it. So
yeah, I definitely understand the feeling of coming back to your house. And well, I mean that sounds like a joke, but it's something that I always tell people that are like on the fence about, working out. I've been trying to get back into shape recently too, because I'm going into law enforcement and I don't want to be a big fat fatty.
Hell yeah, there you go.
But I always hate doing cardio until I'm done.
Yep.
But there's never been a cardio workout that I've done where I was like, I wish I hadn't done that. Ever.
Right.
Ever. I've never gone on a run or a bicycle or, just any kind of cardio workout where like 30, after I'm done and I get over the initial like nausea and, stuff like that, because I don't have enough energy to cool down and I just lay down like an idiot and just immediately fall apart. Once all of that is behind me, I'm like, that was great. Why don't I do that all the time?
Exactly. Why do it's like during it, do I need to run these stairs? And then afterwards, I don't know. For me, it's like, wow, I'm going to go have a double cheeseburger because I earned it on those stairs.
Gonna go straight home and drink a huge beer. And it's
exactly.
I
there you go.
it. Yeah, no, I feel it.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's really good advice, and it comes up a lot on the show. Is exercise is almost always a good idea. Almost always.
Right. It's the simplest thing that you can do to make yourself better today. So much that's out there, like reading. Nobody can realistically read a book in a day. You can't learn everything you need for a new degree or certificate in a day. But if you can get out there and even just go for a walk and clear your head, you're better today. So
yeah. That's another.
I recommend it.
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing that I learned about cardio specifically, though, is it's okay to half-ass cardio until you have an idea of where you're at. Because that was a mistake that I was making trying to get back into shape, is I didn't know how to pace myself not at the rate that I was when I was in shape. And so I was like, why? Has this always sucked so much? And it was because I was like, way over pushing my body. And so, it's, if your options are either like, I should go out and take it easy, or I'm just not going to go work out. It's always better to go and half-ass it than not do it at all because you don't feel up to a serious workout.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But sometimes you just make yourself do it. And I don't know, if you can master that for just something as simple as running in the morning, then the rest of your day should be set, you know?
Yeah. I always joke with people who run in the mornings and say that, that's the only really surefire way to make sure your day can't get any worse than it started. If the first thing you do every morning is go for a run, your day can literally only go up from there.
Hey, if that's how you have to look at it, buddy, why don't you start your day tomorrow with a run?
No, thank you, sir.
No? Okay.
I think I might not just go for a straight up run, but I've actually been getting really into basketball recently.
There you
go. Because it's that sneaky cardio where like you don't really realize you're doing it until you're done and you're like sweat through all your clothes.
Yep. A little winded, maybe.
Oh, big time. Well, if you're as out of shape as I am, very winded. But the main thing is that like I've never really played basketball, like, and people always are like, "You've never played basketball? But you're so tall. What a waste." And I'm like, I hate you. Like, why would you say that?
How's the weather up there?
Yeah, trust me. Heard that one before. But they're like, you should totally play basketball. You're huge. And I'm like, I know. But I just never really got into it. And I started playing it with my girlfriend's brother. And it made me mad how bad I was at it, so I had to start playing it. And I'm that kind of person. And, I'm really enjoying it. So I'll probably go play some basketball tomorrow. And it's like one of the only, like, thankfully, my gym is open. Shout out to Double Barrel Fitness in San Marcos, California. All my North County people, if you need a good workout and you like CrossFit, Double Barrel's where it's at. But like most gyms are closed, and I can't always go and do a full CrossFit workout, so I can just go play some basketball with.
Right.
But it's a great way to get some cardio, do some running, but not feel like I'm doing any running.
So. Still have some fun.
Yeah, totally. Because
you don't hate it. Yeah.
That's the problem that I have with just like going for a run is like I can't quiet my mind long enough to get to that plane, because I've been on that, like, hitting that runner's high where you're just like, this is like transcendental. Like I've been there, and it's been a really long time, and I can't push my body far enough to get there, and I always just throw in the towel too early. And it's so miserable for me, at least, trying to, hit that point. And I can't get, like, wrangle my inner monologue enough for it to be enjoyable. And then as soon as I'm done, I'm like, that was awesome. I'm so glad I did that. But yeah.
Yeah. For me, I don't know. It's like, there are so many ways in life where I'm inconsistent and I don't stick to anything.
Mm-hmm.
And just having the singular focus on one thing, like I picked this race and I need to train for it, otherwise I'll be embarrassed, and focusing on that one thing and having the discipline to get up. I don't know. It's been a life-changing experience to actually finish something, and that feels good.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good thing to pass on to the listeners too. Is that
bro.
If you can attribute something to an end goal, that makes it that much more motivational.
Yep. Yeah. Last year, my little mantra for myself when I was out on some of those long runs was choice, consistency, and conviction. I made a choice to do this. I'm doing this race. I chose to be here at 4:30 in the morning to get in 10 before work, because this is what I chose to do. Consistency, I need to do this every day, or every training day, because otherwise I'm going to die. And then conviction, just sticking by what I'm saying I'm going to do.
That's awesome. That's like,
it's changed my life,
down.
Man.
In fact, I'm going to write that down, actually.
There you go.
Choice, consistency, conviction. That's dope.
Yes, sir. There you go. Trademark, Justin Minger.
That's actually like shirt worthy for sure. You were talking about that earlier. That's super shirt worthy.
That's one of them.
Or like a wristband.
Yeah, there we go.
I'd wear.
Now we're thinking.
I'd wear that.
It's late at night. We got some bourbon in our bodies, and the ideas are flowing.
Yep.
There we go.
You know it, buddy. We should. That's what we should name our podcast network, the Think Tank.
Perfect. Short and simple.
Yeah, and like just misleading enough for like actual intellectuals to be like, I wonder what those guys are. I wonder what they're talking about. And we're
I need
Parks
to be
and
on
Rec. Like, I'm a pussy. Scary movies are scary. Like,
but it's too late. We already roped them in. They signed contracts. They're part of it now.
I feel like that's illegal.
I don't know.
It's that intentional misrepresentation.
It's fishing for intellectuals.
Well, we do need those, because if it was just you and me, like, we would crash and burn.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself and what I can do, but I also know what I can't do.
That's true, and be intellectual is one of them.
Yep, exactly.
Right on.
I'm just born to pound pavement, apparently.
Hey man, there are worse callings. You could be born to
That's true.
Like pound bourbon or beers or people.
Oh, I've fought that demon. Not the people, but certainly the alcohol.
Yeah. I definitely like probably should drink less just for the sake of weight loss. Like I don't think I've ever really like felt like I needed alcohol. I unabashedly enjoy it a lot.
Right.
But like I've been addicted to a nicotine for years and years, and recently quit for like the 5th time.
Good for you, man.
Thanks, dude. But it's very different, but the for alcohol, working in a brewery and drinking friends, like you just find yourself drinking a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I don't see any other way that would happen. You just get caught up in your surroundings, and that's what's going on.
Yeah. But I definitely should that's actually one of the reasons I started drinking liquor as opposed to beer is it's just fewer calories.
That calorie count, baby. Yep.
It adds up, dude. It adds up a lot.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, the bourbon fueled think tank. Brought to you by Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can get him on board with that for sure.
He'll be our angel investor. It's perfect.
Yeah. I love it.
I'm all about it. But yeah, listen, man, did you have any like closing remarks? Anything like that? I think we covered just about everything.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, anybody out there who happens to listen and we haven't spoken in a while, reach out because, I don't know, you're not alone out there in this weird, crazy world. And we can do this. We can just have a FaceTime call and have some bourbon. So let me know.
Now's a time where we're kind of all forced to be apart, and that makes life hard for a lot of people that were struggling ahead of time. So, I would highly recommend that. If you're okay with it, I'll put your socials on on this, and so anybody that needs someone to talk to or share a bourbon with can get to you. All right.
Yeah, that sounds great, man.
All right. Also, for everyone listening, I'm going to put the Special Operations Warrior Foundation page that Justin accepts donations at for the episode, and then that'll take you to his socials as well if you guys want to follow his fitness stuff. Absolutely, man. I mean, if we're going to start a podcast network, we got to support each other's causes.
Yeah, I guess so.
But no, I mean, that's like we said earlier, that's an awesome thing to be doing. And I feel like the people that listen to the show are going to be super on board with that. So, but it was awesome having you on, man. I'm really glad we could do this and, share some whiskey and some, laugh about some old stories and
some good times. Oh
yeah, definitely. And, the tone of this episode was much lighter than a lot of my previous ones, which I think in light of how everything in the United States is going is probably a good thing. But I'm really glad to hear that everything has been going so well for you. Like
thanks, buddy.
It's really good to hear. Yeah, and I'm excited for you, for your little baby boy to come, and I'm looking forward to seeing that post because I want to know what that little guy's name is. Really bad.
I'll let you know, man.
All right.
I'll tag you in
it. Perfect. Yes. All right, dude. Sounds good. I'll talk to you soon. All right.
Sounds good. See you guys.
Bye. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to my conversation with Justin. I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. There's very few things I enjoy more than drinking good whiskey and chatting with a buddy. So this was a really enjoyable episode to make and record. I'm going to go ahead and put the resources and the links to Justin's Special Operator Warrior Foundation charity pages in the social media posts for this episode. So if you want to kind of see what he's about, or maybe make some donations and support him and the cause, just follow those links. They'll be on Instagram, which brings me to my next thing. Don't forget to follow the Instagram at hutb.podcast. That's where you can stay up to date with new content announcements and stuff like that, little videos and things that I've made. So but that's the best way to know when new content is coming. So to everybody who's stuck with the show, I really appreciate you and all of your support. Hopefully this coronavirus thing is behind us, before we're collecting Social Security. Fingers crossed. So, just stay awesome out there, and thank you again for everything, you guys. We'll see you next time.
You know you're warm, then better clear your head. I'm a strong drink and I can put you to bed. You know you're caught up